Hi, happy whatever week we're doing this. It's like the 12th day, something like that. What we're doing today, section 5.3, day one, is we're going to work with the formula for money exponentially. So you have done this formula before, like we usually have things that we've done before. This is our compound interest formula, and it's how we can find out how much money we have in the bank after so many years based off of the interest rate and based off of how many times a year it is compounded. So this is the amount that we want to find out. Each of these other letters stands for something. The P stands for what we call the principal, and the principal is the amount that you start with. Then we go inside the parentheses. The R is your percent. It's whatever your rate is. Now the T should make sense that it's time, but that time is in years, however many years that you have that you put the money into the bank. And then the N is how many times it is compounded. So if they say something like it's compounded every year, then your N would be 1 because it's compounded every year. If it's compounded, let's say semi-annually, then it's compounded twice a year and your N would be 2. And then we're going to do 2 of the other ones that are the main ones that we do, monthly and quarterly. And those give you other 2 different kinds of N values. But it's compounded N times a year based off of what they give you in the problem. You have to have a calculator. Time out for a second. Let me get my calculator. So our first problem, we are going to start off with $500 in the bank. We have an interest rate of 1.5%. We're going to put the money into the bank for 5 months, and it will be compounded monthly. So we know what P and what R and what T are, but we don't know what the N is. N involves monthly. Well, how many months are in a year? There's 12. So since there's 12 months in a year and it's compounded monthly, our N value would be equal to 12. So we have the P, we have the R, we have the N, and we have the T value. So we're going to plug in all of those things to figure out what the A would be equal to. So let's start out with A equals P, which is 500, parentheses 1 plus. Now with your rates, since they're in percents, we have to change them to decimals. So 1.5 is really the same thing as, or 1.5 is the same thing as 1.5. But we move the decimal over 2 places. So it's really 0.015. So we'll have 0.015 divided by 12 to the, and then NT. Now, I told you something about the T. The T has to be in years. Is this T in years? No, it is not. It's in months. So we have to change it. How do we change months into years? Well, what we do is we put it over 12. So this is 5/12 of a year. So for our T, we'll put in 5/12, and for our N, we'll put in 12. So we'll do 12 times 5/12. There's our formula. That's where we're going to plug into our calculator. First thing I want you to do, I want you to take these 2 things and multiply them together, and I want you to get a single number. What would 12 times 5/12 be? Well, the 12s would cancel, and you would just get 5. So we have 500, 1 plus 0.015 divided by 12 to the 5th power. Now the rest of this, we're going to take our calculator, and we're going to plug it in exactly the way that it looks, parentheses and everything. So you will type in 500, parenthesis, 1 plus 0.015 divided by 12, and then your little caret button, your power button, to the 5th. Let's see what we get. So we have 500, 1 plus 0.015 over 12 to the 5th. Now, what do you believe that we might want to round this to? Well, it is money, so we round it to 2 decimal places. So this would be $503.13. And there's our answer. So we're going to do one more because I wanted to do the n value, and then I'll show you the last formula. So we have A equals, our principal here we're going to put in is $1,000. So when the problem says if you want to deposit $1,000, that's your principal. And then we have 1 plus my rate. If I move it over 2 decimal places, we have 0.032 divided by quarterly. How many quarters would there be, let's say, in $1? Well, there's 4. So my n value for quarterly equals 4. So I would divide by 4. And then it's to the nt power. This time t is in years, so I don't have to divide by 12. So I would have 4 times 10. And just like before over here, I want you to multiply that power together first. So this would be to the 40. So I'll have 1,000 times 1 plus 0.032 divided by 4 to the 40th power. And you'll type that in once again, just like it looks into your calculator. To the 40th. Once again, round it to money. I got 1375.38. So that's your first formula. We have one other formula, and it's called compound interest continuously. And it doesn't have an n value. It involves that letter E that we did last week. So it's actually easier to use than this one because you don't have that n value. The problem goes the formula goes A equals P e to the RT. And that's it, that's the formula. So let's say for problem number 3, I was given a principal value of, let's just go back to $500, a rate of 3.5%, and a time value of, let's say, 2 years. What they're going to say in the problem, instead of an n value, they're going to say the word continuously. That's how you're going to know this is the formula you're going to use. So my A value is going to go A equals, your principal's 500, E to the R is, move it over twice, 0.035 times your time, which is T, so 2. Take and multiply this together, just like I did in the last problem. So 0.035 times 2, 0.07. So we have 500 e to the 0.07, and we'll do 500 e, the little caret, 0.07. Now remember your E button is that second, push the second button, and then you press the LN button to get the e to the power. We did that last week. So 500 e to the 0.07, still money, is $536.25. One last problem. The last problem is the same formula, but instead of solving for A, we're going to solve for P. So they're going to say, how much money should you deposit in order to get, let's say, a total of $500 after a certain number of years? So we don't know what the principal is because we want to end up with $500 after so many years. So let's say they told us our rate is 2.5% and we want to deposit this for 5 years. Same formula, but we don't know how much we want to deposit. So we're going to say A is 500 equals P e to the, move it over twice, 0.025 times 5. I'd ask you what to do next, but I think you know, and you can't answer me. So 0.025 times 5, 0.125. So we have 500 P e to the 0.02, or 0.1, I'm sorry, 0.125. Now this is the easy last step. since this is P times that E, you are going to divide by the E. That doesn't look like an E anyway. E to the 0.125. E to the 0.125 cancels, and we just type it into the calculator. So 500 divided by E to the 0.125. Still money, so you're going to round it to money. $441.25. There's really no way to do this without a calculator, so you got to use your calculator. Hopefully you have one. So tomorrow we're going to do logarithms, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.